Hi everyone. Um, this is Kia. You might also know me by Maria. I usually use Kia, and I'm a storyboard artist, also an illustrator, and also do a lot of game fan art or anime fan art on the side. And today it's my favorite series, 10 years anniversaries. So let's begin. It's Ace Attorney, the fourth series, Apollo Justice, and he's my favorite. So I'm going to draw him today. So this is going to be like sort of like a tutorial. I would explain what I do. Hopefully I can finish this video in 2 hours. I just want to draw his beautiful face with some spring sakura since it's the spring season, and cherry blossom has been blooming everywhere around my area. Okay, so let's begin. This is a live stream at the same time, but I would export to my YouTube channel, which is I just changed the name of it, which is going to be Kia's Drawing Basket, and I'm also going to post this on my Patreon. That's how you say it, right? Patreon, and the image is also going to be there. You can download the high-res image of it later for being my patron on my Patreon page. Otherwise, it's like a web size. It would be posted to my Twitter and everything. Okay, so let's begin. So I have my reference here, which you won't see it from my stream, but that's fine. So I can talk about a little bit about drafting and composition. In my mind, I really just want, this is just gonna be a simple portrait drawing. I'm just gonna draw him in the middle. So very important in this stage, don't zoom in. You want to see the whole picture, and you want to roughly just give the position of everything. Just think about geometric shape and everything, and do some head. Neck. I really just want a portrait, like a bust portrait. So the reason why I left so many space on the top is because he has this two incredible long hair up there. So I would roughly just draft out the whole thing. Well, I don't really have a reference of this pose, but I've been drawing for a while. I wouldn't say I'm a master of anatomy or anything, but I've been drawing for a while, so that's kind of in my head. So for beginners, I really encourage you to have a reference of the postures and understanding how the head is structured this way, even though if it's just a manga or anime drawing, you'll need a reference. Like without the understanding of anatomy, it just really you would tell, you can tell it's gonna look wrong. So at this stage, I'm really just thinking about if it look nice overall. Well, you probably would see me do a mini changes at this stage. Hmm. Okay, and you can see that I haven't put clothing on him yet, because I really just want to see the whole compositions. And I know I can change his face like later, so I'm not really too worried about it right now. So yeah, I don't like this body position. Let's change it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have another layer because I'm gonna have a really close up Sakura over here. I think it's gonna be nice with some foreground element. And same thing, you will see that I don't go into details at this stage. I'm just really putting in a huge shape. I know you don't share on my screen, but on the side it's actually the reference that I took of some cherry blossom in Brooklyn last time. So it's my own reference. I'm just copy the whole shape of that single branch of cherry blossom. So you know what I meant later. So that's that. Let me duplicate the layer just to make that line a little bit darker. There we go. And I'm going back to the bust. I feel like it would look better if his body is going sideways a little bit. I would so want to draw another person beside him, but I don't think I have the time to do that today. Let's see if I can finish this in an hour or two. It's gonna be a really quick drawing. Okay, I'm going to add, I'll give another draft, I guess. Well, I don't have to, but I still do. I'll put another branch over here. I think it's also a foreground element, so the cherry blossom is gonna be super huge. I think that's very pretty. And the foreground, I might blur them later, just to give a sense of depth in the space foreground element. So I noticed one thing after I put this flower in the foreground. I would just move his hair slightly in a little bit just to break that line. So it looks like he's behind the flower now. And background, let's give him some clothes first. So remember the collar, it's always around the neck. So you want to make sure the upper side it's almost like a round line around the neck, which is a cylinder. Many of my students make this type of mistake. They would draw it straight like this, which is not right. It should be around the cylinder, something like this. And the outside, he has a waistcoat. It also have a collar. Usually, it's like a suit collar. It would go up and cover like diagonally. And since this is a sideway, it would have sort of a foreshortening. Okay, I am just looking at the other hand right now. Okay, so this will be my first pass of draft. I don't, at this stage, I could go into clean line right away. Or I could have another layer of second drafts just to feel confident before I go into clean line. But in this case, I think I'm good. I'm just gonna have another layer called character line. And right now I have like a pencil brush. Let me change into something a little bit more solid. Or not. I'm not, in this one I'm not keeping the line later. Let's try if this works. Whoa. Yeah, that's fine. You'll see what I mean by I'm not gonna keep the line later. This is not, I'm not doing a clean line anime drawing. I want like a, sort of like a half painting. So you can see I'm not being very careful around the line. But at the same time, I don't want it to be too messy. So I always love drawing a quarter view of the face. Maybe it's because it has more volume to the face. But also it's a hard angle. Before you do that, you might need a lot of line to make sure you're aligned. The placement of the eyebrow, especially. He has a very tough eyebrow. Tough eyebrow, I said. Okay. And the hair. Well, in this game series, everybody have like really weird hair, which are all very hard to draw. Okay, and that's the ear. The placement of the ear is from the eye to the bottom of the nose. That's the length of the ear, whether if you're doing a thin art or not, it will look right, you know. Okay, so get the bottom of the jaw line. Usually the ear, it's a little bump going up around the ear and stop here. Then there's a little Y shape inside going down. Does that make sense? Probably not. It's just a simplified observation from drawing ears over the year. Okay. Top of the head. Okay, I haven't drawn him for a really long time. So forgive me if I sort of getting rusty about it. I can't believe this series have been 10 years. That is crazy. Oops. Yeah, I don't think I got that right. Like I said, all of their character, it's so hard to draw their hair. It's part of the charm of this game, I guess. I heard number 7's coming out. Don't know how it's going to be. I'm not going to spoil anything if you haven't played yet. But yeah, it gave me a lot of feels playing number 6. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop there. Okay, we're done there at the back of the hair. Like I said, the color. Yeah, it's a very hard word for me to pronounce. There are certain words I cannot pronounce it very correctly. Let's line up the color. The side view of the color. If you put a straight line to it in perspective, that's where you should line them up. And on the other side, it should be a lot thinner than this side. And his little attorney badge. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna turn off the character draft. Like I said, it's not very clean, which is okay at this point because later on I'm going to layer colors on him. I don't know if this is faster than like actually drawing lines. Probably. I'm just really trying to see if the eyes is lined up. I can leave it right now. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create groups. I'm going to group them now. Always organize your layers. This is going to be background. I always just wrote BK. Characters is going to be its own layer. Character. These two are the foreground element. I would just type foreground or I just type FG. So these are the two. I can merge them. It's fine. Just sort of organize them. And if you're in Photoshop, you can color them. Like BK, if you press right click on your mouse, give it a purple color. I will always sort of come from the bottom color to the top color. So it'll be blue for this. This would be green. You can always change the color. It doesn't really matter. So I would always put a BK color first. At this point, if it's like a portrait sort of drawing, I wouldn't be so concerned about what's in the back because I'm going to blur it so much that you can't tell what's in there. And so what I would do is I would just randomly drop a photo that I took before on my phone. I would always try to deal with the background color first because it's going to affect how you look at the color and pick the color later for whatever's not background because it's going to affect it. So let's see. So I'm going to change it. I'm just gonna, it doesn't really matter. I just need the color in the back. So it doesn't really matter how you place it. You will see why I mean. Right now I look bizarre. It's fine. I would keep this. So I would duplicate layer. Keep this in the back in case I messed up. Because I'm going to just change it like really dramatically. So if you pressed, if you're using Apple, press Command U. If you're using Windows, it would be Control U, which will call up a hue and saturation window. I know you probably can't see from the window that I share because I'm sharing a single window on Photoshop and it's a pop-up window of hue and saturation. So I'm really just going to manipulate the lightness of it. I would make the background lighter and let's see. And I would give filter blur, Gaussian blur. It's under the menu of filter. Go to blur. There's many sub-menu there. I usually use Gaussian blur. So I'm just gonna blur out like a lot. Like I said, I don't want a lot of information from the background for this piece particularly. So I'm going to blur it a lot. So you kind of know it's tree, but it's not. But then it's pinkish, so you kind of know it's cherry blossom and with some blue in there. That's nice. I'm just trying to see how blurry I want it to be. It's like if you go too blurry, it's losing some of the pink that I want. I would probably stop it here. I'll call out the saturation window again. Command U or Control U. I'm gonna boost up the saturation. Not too much. Maybe make it lighter. And I would also call out Command L or Control L, which is contrast. Changing the midtone and the darkest tone. Because it's background, I don't want it to be too dark. I think that's fine. And I'm going to proceed to characters line. There's two ways of doing this. Since this is very simple, I'm just gonna hand paint it. I'm gonna name this base layer. Just putting a neutral color in there. Yeah. I would change it into something more solid, like something like this, like a really hard brush, because I just want to cover all of him. This is also a good time to look at the silhouette too. Like if you have a good silhouette, good shape, it's gonna affect how you look at the whole image. Like if you kind of squint your eyes, all of the object in this pictures can be a shape. So the shape can really affect the composition and how your eyes is looking at the pictures, you know, it leads your view and everything. You know, some of the picture when you look at it, it just leads your view to like around the picture and you feel like you just keep looking at it. You can't get out of that. That's what we're trying to achieve. We try to hypnotize people, you know, like so. A good composition is very critical, and silhouette plays a big part of it. Okay. When I turn off the line art, you will see what I mean by silhouette in just a second. So yeah, I know I didn't draw out his back line, but I'm still gonna draw it there. Because I know later on when I get into the flower in the foreground, you're gonna see a little bit of that. And let me give a different gray for the flower. Oh, I draw on the same layer, which is fine. Because I'm gonna draw it on the top of it anyway later. Usually I would do the same as where the characters. It's fine. But like right now you can see roughly the shapes are coming out, and it really is trying to shape what you perceive in this picture. You know, a good example is, you know, if your character is backlit, can you recognize by his shape? There's so much to talk about for composition and everything. It's almost hard to explain. It's a good composition is really hard to come by. It's almost like you have to spend time, do some little thumbnails for some complicated one. You can even spend a whole week just to get a good composition. Okay, I'm going to be done in a second for just mapping out the silhouette of the flower. And you can see I'm doing it very rough right now because I know I'm going to fix it later. I'm not too worried about it right now. Okay. I'm gonna deal with this later. And I haven't saved it yet. Let me save it first. It's also kind of hard to trying to name your file. I'm going to name it Apollo 10 anniversary. Okay. Save it. Okay. So now we have this. If I turn off the line, you can see his sort of like this shape. So it's kind of like you're trying to guess who it is from the silhouette, and I think it worked. I'm gonna proceed to putting some color to him. So this little icon over here, I don't know if you can see my mouse at all. No? So I'm gonna push this little icon here, and in the layer windows on the bottom right side, when I click that thing, it has like a little lock there appears. So it's locking the layer. Whatever you draw will not come out of that, whichever you paint on that layer, which is very convenient. So I would make my brush opacity down to probably 70. Okay. So you can see it's somehow not very solid, which is fine. I'm just gonna quickly color in. I'm thinking the light is coming from right side, and I'm gonna choose my color to, I always choose my darker color to the bottom right diagonally, and go into the right color a little bit for the skin tone, not too red. That's probably too red. Let's see. That's very red. That's not what I want. Oh, that's too red. Just trying to give it a little color. It's also nice to have like a neutral tone under. It's gonna tone down some of it a little bit, which is going to be nice. I know I probably should use my Clip Studio and Paint more. I'm just a little too used to Photoshop right now. I've done just like one illustration so far on Clip Paint Studio, which is really nice. I really like the way it does brushes. But right now I'm using Photoshop because I'm going to use a quick drawing and I'm still not very confident of using Clip Paint Studio. So I might have more video of drawing Clip Paint Studio later on. But I'm not very familiar with that right now, so for those who are using Photoshop, so when the light comes from this side, remember the face. The face is, you know, volumed. So ooh, the wrong color. There you go. So this side is really bright. Yeah, I'm gonna change the brush. This brush leaves some mark. Oh, okay. It's a 1 hour, 2 hour challenge for me, personally. I'm not sure if I can finish this in this short amount of time. The reason why I want to finish this so bad is that I want to post this today, and also I have work later, so I want to finish before I head out. And also I want to keep the drawing video short. It's very hard to keep a drawing video short. So diagonally, give some color. I would go where the hairs are going, which is going to the back in his hairstyle. My brush will go towards the back. Okay. Give some darker value to it. Right now the tone up here is really, really unsaturated. Let me give it some color. Where the light come from. Okay. I would choose a little bit bluish tone gray for the eyes. Some in his brown eyes. It's always lighter at the bottom of the eyes and the pupil, iris, I think it's called iris, pupil. So the eyes come out now, and let's pick a pink color, not too pink, a little bit desaturated pink for the mouth, and more desaturated for inside color, something like that. Sort of like a purplish red. That's what I always secretly call it. White color for the teeth, which doesn't happen in real life. This is the anime drawings, so that's fine. I can like slightly darker in the back. Okay, we can do this. We can do this. Let's finish it very quick today, hopefully. Some dark color for the gray color. His iconic red. Red color coming in. He is so cute. Yeah, ignore me. Some darker color. So it's always nice we have some neutral color gray underneath. I can just literally just pick up this color for like a reflective color, which is nice. Okay, on the other side. Okay. Some white shirt color over here. You know, I would just turn off the foreground just for a hot second. Just a little bit. I know we're not going to see it. Let me just lay it out. So I keep picking up the mid color to mix them up. Okay. It's a little bit rough right now, I know. Let's pick his tide color. There will be some contact shadow just below the waistcoat. I know I didn't draw that out, but that should be sort of the back. Okay. Some contact shadow on the other side. And I think his neck should be a little bit darker. That's a little better. Okay, I would make the nose just a tiny bit darker. Maybe towards the red side a little bit more, because we have a lot of arteries going through the nose and the cheek, so I would tend to give that part a little bit reddish color. Yeah, this brush choosing doesn't really mix that well. So I'm gonna switch to something else. And that was the one that I choose. Or just turn opacity down a little bit more. Let's quickly give some, let's select the layer and quickly give the foreground color some cherry blossom color. I'm gonna lay out the darker color first. I don't know if you can hear my brush, my stylus painting on my Wacom tablet right now. I have a piece of how you said that, a piece of folder just cover up on my Wacom. I don't want to get too details about the foreground element right now. And later on, I think they're going to be blurred a little bit, so I don't want it to be like spending too much time on that as well. So I'm really looking at my reference that I took last time. And just to look at the lighter color right now. Okay. Yeah, the shape of the flower needs to be shaped better later as well. Right now I'm really just filling in. Filling in the color. Okay. Okay, this is something that I probably make you have a heart attack. I would duplicate, select the two layer by pressing Shift from left click both of them and right click to duplicate both of the layers and press OK. I would hide the original one and merge them, and I'm literally just gonna draw on the top of him. Just a closer a little bit. And I'm thinking maybe I'll change to the hard brush right now. Well, Photoshop is not really for painting, my perspective. So I would just make the opacity really low for the hard brush and just keep picking up mid-tone and just sort of mix them. It's not very clever, I know. But for anime drawing, I found that a little bit easier than using other texture brush. Unless you're drawing something realistic, very conceptual sort of thing, then I don't think hard brush is your choice. So I'm just really cleaning up the edges. I hope I don't take too much time. This is the part of the the painting that I could take a lot of time, and hopefully I don't. I'm just gonna force myself not to look at it too much. Um, and then my favorite part is drawing, painting face. Um, there's something about painting face. I don't know why. Maybe it's a sense of achievement or something. So you will see that I'm keep picking up colors. I even sort of redraw the line a little bit. And I keep picking up color because the brush doesn't really mix that well in Photoshop. So I'm just really doing it manually. So you will keep seeing the little mixing color circle coming up. So be aware that I keep mixing the color. I actually set my stylus. I set my pen, you know, the little two buttons on the stylus. I set the bottom one on the stylus to ALT, so I don't really have to use my left hand to keep picking up color. I'm really just use my thumb to keep pressing it and keep mixing color and picking up color. That way, save more time to me. I don't think you probably need that in Clipping Studio because all of their brushes are pretty good with mixing color. It's sort of fun to do it this way in some way, but not really. It just takes too much time. Yeah, part of the reason why you don't want to go too close for all that details that we don't need. If you want to go into details, you can draw this for literally 2 days. And you know what I mean. We don't want that. We don't want to get into details. Because time is money, especially for artists. Alright, clean that up. So right now, this part looked very flat. Let me see if I can just make the eyes pop out a little bit more. Yeah, maybe not. I'll just make it a triangle there, I guess. Mixing color, mixing color. Okay. Want a little bit of that eye. That on the side. Let's clean up the eyes. Okay. Clean up the eyes. And I would repaint that eyelid part. Trying to make it a little bit more soft. Let me repaint the whole eyes. Without the highlight of the eyes, he really looks a little dark, right? Okay, let's give the highlight back. So it's cleaner this way. Sort of redrawing it, but not really. There you go. And I would give a little bit of that white down there. Okay. Alright. The eyebrows probably not in a good place. Because eyebrows turning on the sideways is always a very hard angle. I think it could be a little thinner. I think only humans have eyebrows. which is very strange to me when I realized this. Like, you never see an eyebrow on a cat or dog or rabbit. So in fact, in animation, when they're trying to personify animals, they're always trying to give them eyebrows. It's easier for us to read the face. Okay. I still got time. Hopefully it doesn't take too much time. Cleaning up the hair. There we go. You want to give some straight line, but remember not to be too repetitive. Straight line. So I want to give some straight line out there, but not too much. We don't need too much of them. I'll come back with the highlight, but right now let's clean it up overall first. We don't need this little line there. It's always darker in the middle, and then it's lighter towards the head. I'm going to pick up some of that desaturation color and for the middle, mix it up, and pick up that saturated color at the top. I'm picking up the star color just to give some line. Like I said, not to be repetitive. So one long, one short, one long, one short, short, one long. Because your eyes will tend to trying to find anything that's repetitive or anything that looks like face. Very interesting about human mind. I think there's some explanation for that. It might have to be like a survival instinct, you know. Your eyes were trying to find anything that looked like face. Maybe it's because in the wild, you know, it's trying to warn you there's a predator in the grass with face hunting you. So make sure your stuff are not too repetitive and look like face. Very weird suggestion. Okay. Keeping the back of that part very desaturated. The light is coming from this part, so this part will be saturated. Okay, let's clean up this part. And the ear. sort of nice that it has like a soft tone line around it. I want to keep it. So I'm just gonna redraw the line for the ear. Nothing crazy. Okay. Still messy down there, but we're getting there. It's just really a lot of mixing at this point. So some shadow under the collar. This is the, that line beside the neck. Okay, we're getting there. We're really getting there. Okay, light. It's just light, dark, and light, dark. Let's pick a lighter color for the highlight of the hair. The light is coming from sort of the back of him. Some highlight. Okay. Not much to do about the collar, I think. Just clean up that part, because the collar is going around, right? We really want to see this little piece I'm drawing here going around his neck. Some shadow under the coat. Okay, I will have a little bit brighter red on that side. In that case, the dark line on that side can disappear a tiny bit, which is fine. Okay. The rest of it, just clean it up. We're almost there. Clean it up. I would make that part of the shoulder darker, just to push it back. But I would not make the line so dark on that side. No, like a portrait photo. That part would be disappeared a tiny bit. A tiny bit of light coming down, which is going to be nice. Sort of like a tiny edge light, which is something I really enjoy doing. And also do it a little bit here on the side of the face. A little bit on the nose. Turn it down that side. So continue to clean it up. There's a little bit of that white shirt under. I will just use some black line to show that. Clean up all the little lines. Okay. And keep it simple. It has a chest pocket over here. Okay, and then his badge. Pick darkest gold first, and then pick a really dark brown in the same color family. And then let's pick a yellowish golden color. Do some tiny highlights on it. And I will pick a even brighter yellow. Okay. Not this part. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Let's black light the flower. It can be rough. Okay, let's go to unlock the flower layer. I haven't given the color of the branch yet, so let's do it. So, sort of carefully observe the branches. I think they're a little bit brownish color. Okay. They have some little tiny bumps on the branches. I'm just gonna erase the shape on at the same time. Yeah, I will make that brighter because the background's really dark, so I'm gonna make it pop out a little bit here. And I wouldn't worry about the detail too much, like I said. I'm just gonna focus on the overall tone of it. Sort of like squinting your eyes. Because I don't want to spend too much time on this. This is not the detail I want people to focus on. Even the branches have a tiny bit of that value to it. Just wrap it up. nice space in between it. I can't wait to look at the cherry blossom. I think only a few weeks from now it's going to bloom very beautifully. And here though. I know the Washington DCs are already bloomed. Everybody's having a vacation recently, I think, because the weather's getting warm. I think as long as you draw the flower petal out, it's pretty clear that it looks like a flower, or no? Okay. Right now they're just drawing flowers. Drawing flowers. Okay, I'm trying to convince myself not to go into details. It is always hard for artists. Okay. Try to look at the colors on them. Yeah, so far it looks fine to me. Really trying to rough it up. Okay, we're done for this brunch probably. I'm gonna give a darker tone inside. there needs to be some tiny, I don't know what is it called, I already forgot my biology class. You know the little thing in there? Yeah. Put in the darker tone first. I'm gonna choose a higher, lighter, bright yellow tone. No, it doesn't have to be so polished. Okay. Okay. I'm fine with this one. Let's get to the other one. Squint your eyes. This is might be a boring process, but it's necessary. Has a much darker tone to this one. This is right under the sun. We're almost there, almost there. Just the flowers. Just the flowers. Well, I'm living in New York, so Central Parks is probably gonna take another week or two to have fully bloomed cherry blossom. I can't wait. I am. Every year I'm always wanting to look at cherry blossom. I love them. They're really, really pretty. I heard the cherry blossom in Japan are already fully bloomed. Wish I can go there to look at it in person one day. Okay, let's get some of the branches going. Okay, I might cheat it a little bit later. You'll see what I mean. We can reuse the cherry blossom that we draw. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna get super white up there and just some really bright color. Okay. Feel like it's a little dark. Let's boost up the saturation a little bit. Okay. We're almost there. We're almost there. Okay. Our really quick 2-hour painting. Okay. So I would, let's see what I can do with the other cherry blossoms. There you go. Duplicate the layers and put it behind the characters. See if I can manipulate it a little bit. I don't know if it's gonna look good though. It's probably too much. Maybe. Let's separate them. If you select it and press and click, right click on the canvas and layer via cut can separate the two objects that's from the same layer. So I'm just gonna playing around and see if I can make it look like there's more in the back. Sort of. Like, I sort of work. Let's look at it. Like just something in the back, you know. So I kind of increase that depth a tiny bit. Yeah, I'm a very lazy artist with so little time, so don't judge me. Yeah, I don't think that one quite worked over there. It does work a little bit though, right? So I don't have to draw so many different cherry blossom. Let's put another one up there and see how it works. Okay. You know what? I possibly want another one somewhere here. The thing is, they are very small. Because behind him, it should be smaller, isn't it? Which my laziness doesn't really work that good. Let's see. How about I duplicate that more? I'm sort of using it as how you said that? A wallpaper now. Okay. I sort of trick your eyes, right? So let's go to the foreground and I would duplicate that and close one of it. Let's keep the original one, that's what I'm saying. And go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. We don't want to blur too much, but just a tiny bit, so that it looks like it's in the foreground. So you see he really looks like he's like in that space. Now I feel like the background color doesn't match my pink in the foreground. Let me just make it a warmer tone pink. And I would make another layer and do an overlay and do the gradation tone just to make it a tiny bit pinkier. And make the sky bluer. So it sort of look like he's in somewhere really nice weather. Doesn't it? I wonder if that's too much. But I like it. It's just some color manipulation. Okay. So the flower behind him, I just noticed I might need to fill that up a little bit. This one. Yep. And we're sort of done. Not really. Give me 1 second. Because I'm gonna sort of what's what. Okay, those are the ones up there. And this one that's larger, I'll duplicate it, I keep it before I blur it. Filter, Gaussian blur. It wouldn't be as blurry as the foreground one, but it would help to create that depth. Well, the background ones are really behind him. I wouldn't touch that one, probably. But those three, I would duplicate them and merge them. Hide the original one. Do a filter, Gaussian blur. Just blur them out a tiny bit because those are behind him. I'll make the color brighter a little bit so it really looks like it's pushed back. And you know what? We can duplicate that and maybe increase that somewhere. Just a little bit. Almost treat it as wallpaper now. I don't know if that works. Oh, I know why. Because they're not supposed to be upright. Let's see if that works. Just sort of want something there. And I would push that back even more, blur it out more. Make it brighter. So it's really pushed back. And I think I'm done. I can go really crazy about this. Just feel like this could make it more. I can go there like keep going and don't stop with that. Oops. Right. Just want that to be really small. I moved that by accident. Okay. Because I sort of want that to be super duper far back. So we sort of have something there, you know. And then brighter. Now I wonder if I should just make the background. Let's see. Let's do level layer. Make the background a little bit just brighter. That's good. I am fine with this. And tiny one little last touch of it is that I would add an overlay layer with some pink color and a soft brush with a lower opacity and lower flow, 40 to 50 both. Just sort of giving a little bit of the local color to it. Might be too much, just a little bit. So we can increase some pretty color on him. I don't want it too much. Some of it, just some of it. Okay. And another overlay probably with the warmer tone. Let's clip to it and warmer tone to him. Some yellowish tone. Right. Still think his face is a little tiny bit dark. Let's put some flash tone on him a little bit. Some reddish tone on him. And final little touch is that we combine all of them, but we keep it. So duplicate all of the layers. Same, that's hide all of them and merge them. Then we go to filter, lens correction, and I know you can't see the windows over here. Go to filter, lens correction, and go to custom section, and you should be able to change the fixed red, cyan, green, blue, the 3 bars, and it would have some really nice colored lines separated at the edges. You'll see what I mean after I zoom in and show you guys what I'm talking about. So after the lens correction, this is what's gonna happen. You see the little tiny green line. That's good. It's just a nice little touch. Yeah. And meanwhile, you can go to filter, noise, and add a little bit of the noise if you want. Just to add a little bit of texture. Not too much, just enough for you to see it close up. You know, just a nice little touch. And I usually would do this if I go to pull out my own texture that I scanned in. Watercolor texture. This is the one that I really like to use. Go to make it into multiply. And Command U or Control U. Turn down the saturation or change the color of the saturation. I would choose a similar color. Boost up the lightness of it. I want to keep some of that. And if you press the layer bar at the bottom right side, there's an add layer mask, this little thing. It would create this little white mask. So I'm going to gradation. Make sure your setting on the top left is this setting with half of the transparency showing, and choose a black color. In the mask layer, make sure you click the mask layer in the layer, and I'm just getting rid of that edge that I don't want. And keep some of them. So I'm duplicating this layer and transform it. I would flip it vertically because I want it at the top too, a little bit. And I would click back to the mask layer and just mask some of that watermark. I don't want it to be too obvious. Just a tiny bit amount, that's enough. I'll change the opacity of them a little bit. So we're done with some nice texture, and I'm gonna sign on my artwork, so no one's gonna, well, if people's gonna steal it, they steal it, but I'm just gonna put my signature up here. Okay, and we're done. Right, thank you for watching. It's exactly 2 hours. I made it. So, I will export this video to my YouTube channel, which is Kia's Drawing Basket, and the high res of this picture can be downloaded on my Patreon page if you're on my patrons. And so see you in a little bit. Thank you all for watching.